Hello, stream. I'm going to be making an absolute horror show tonight. This is the Carafe for the Dirty Potter Challenge. I think it's number 5, though it's actually maybe number 4. Don't remember. This was thrown on the wheel a couple of days ago. Thrown and indented a little bit, so it should have a good pouring action. Ergonomics was a portion of the brief. Oh, I do need one tool that I forgot about before I get started. Oh, no, it's right here. I need to check my height. Make sure I have space in the kiln. Trying to get this all done tonight, so I'm going to move right ahead.
So do you want to tell us about the previous submission, of which we have the two goals shown on the screen there?
So the first Dirty Potter challenge that we did was the Pokemon challenge for the, I believe Dante was calling it his season of the weeb. If you don't know, Dante is the creator at Earth Nation Ceramics. He's a ceramicist and educational YouTuber from California. And I sort of learned how to throw pottery through a combination of watching his videos and a couple of other people.
We have a McSalty.
Hello, McSalty. How are you? Just roughing up the surface a little bit so the clay adheres well. The clay I'm working with tonight.
We also have a pane.
Hmm?
We also have a pane.
Hello, Payne. Yeah, I did the framing. I think is okay. Got good pictures. I am working on just getting this roughed up before I start sculpting. The clay body this is thrown from is a white stoneware from PSH, which is a local-ish to us ceramics provider, and I'm sculpting.
Pottery Supply House.
Yes, Pottery Supply House.
Oakville, Ontario.
Oakville, Ontario. And this that I'm actually going to be sculpting with is a mixture about 50-50 of the clay body that I threw with and Laguna's wed clay, which is a sculpture specific. It's a sculpture specific type clay developed for Disney animators.
So Payne did say nice.
She did, which I don't understand.
Mm-hmm. So why are you using the wed clay?
The wed clay has pretty good properties for sculpting. It's very, very smooth. It also has is it for speed? The sculpting in water-based clay will definitely make things faster, but this is kind of a weird, not my usual. Yeah. No, it is faster, but I'm doing it because it's a different kind of job that I'm doing with this. Sure. This is really unpleasant, this part. Yeah, I might be a little behind on comments tonight. I'm gonna be working pretty fast. But the material that I'm working with, I did mix it with the wet clay because I like the way the wet clay sculpts. It's very, very smooth, and it has potentially some glycerin in it. That's sort of the working theory. That makes it dry just a little bit slower than your average throwing clay. Anybody that's worked with wet clay for like mask making and also oil-based clays, the idea of it drying more slowly is probably a little weird, because it's a very fast medium in comparison to most of your oil-based clays. Can get some really nasty stuff. Yeah. Build up some quick wrinkles. Become a fireable item. Yes, I do want you to read comments for me, please.
Okay. So Payne says yes, so it's not strong enough clay body to become a fireable element.
Wet clay, per my experiments, wet clay is fireable. At cone 6, it's pretty similar to a stoneware. I have been told by people who should know better than I do that the clay body is going to be very consistent for wet clay. Like, they've been manufacturing this stuff since the 40s, I think. So it's a really well established clay body, but it's designed by Laguna not as a firing clay, but as a like a pure sculptural clay. So they don't list any firing characteristics for it, which would make me hesitant to use it as a firing clay specifically, because I suspect that one of the reasons that they don't list the firing characteristics is because there are a few different clay bodies that they'll use in the formula depending on like what's easy to get hold of and inexpensive at any given time. So I would say, even more than usual, if you're planning on firing it, test it. But I have tested this and it fires to cone 6 just fine. I like to mix the two, partially because I find the wed actually dries a little too slowly for my taste. It's a little too sticky and a little too slow when I'm working with a sculpt like this kind of thing. I do also think that it helps with the fit of the two clays, to have some of the body that this is thrown out of mixed in with the wet, but I mostly do it for feel. I've done sculpts with just wet clay. Best tool for now. So probably going to be doing the bulk of my early roughing in with this tool that I made from a piece of banding steel. It's got a toothed section that gives a good smoothness to the clay. Sort of counterintuitive, but when you're smoothing out clay as you're sculpting, if you use a toothed tool that's called
kind of a nail file shaped rib.
Yeah, kind of. It's about the same thickness as my thumb. It's got a good variety of shape, I guess, for sculpting. I've got this rounded end, and this more pointy end, so I can get really good results with it. At least I found. I don't use it much for my my monster clay sculpting, because monster clay is so much harder, and holding the tool kind of tangentially like this puts a lot of strain on your hands and wrist, I find. It's definitely doable, but for long periods of time it can get a little rough. Let's see. I think
Yeah, don't damage your parts.
Yeah, I'm attempting not to. I think we're gonna make this into an eye socket. That'll be gross. So the name of the game for this sculpture is going to be unpleasantness.
Last image, I thought it would be a belly button.
We still have belly button room. Nope. We have room to make it a belly button on the other side. These are relatively easy to sculpt, I find. This one might be a little bit unusual, having a thumb in it, but should still be fun. Very much going to be going with just rolling with it for this sculpt.
There be lint inside the belly button?
Will there be lint inside the belly button? Could be. Could very well be.
What else could you put inside the belly button? Or may you put inside?
I hadn't thought that far ahead. Lint would be a good one. Some hairiness would be good. Make some belly button. Make some little mites.
Anything to horrify Dante.
Anything to horrify Dante is the plan. That's been our.
That is and always will be the primary.
That is and always will be the primary objective here.
A belly button ring that has infected punctures.
Not bad. Not bad.
Oh. Salty says if you really wanted to push it, you could show a yeast infection.
I will probably, a lot of this is going to get very infected looking. That'll probably mostly be down to coloration, which I'll be doing with underglazes. I apply them mostly with an airbrush, but I do a fair bit of layering with my glaze. So for like a nice infection, I could definitely see some like sponged over work on once it's been fired. So I do most of my painting in the greenware phase. But then I do habitually, I have an iron oxide wash that I work with that really brings out the details and kind of makes everything a little grubby looking. But I think having some like white or light colored crusty looking stuff.
Cute, may rub some lamisol on that belly later.
Not a bad idea. You got to keep ahead of that stuff, you know. Once things get in it. All right, do that, and I'm gonna be pleased with this until I get a good eyebrow shape. Yeah, the only things that I have an absolute certainty, and I will be happing, which glaze is it? Sometimes hard to envision, see the resulting colors. Yeah, glazing can be difficult because the colors do change from firing. I use underglazes, so it's not as bad as like a lot of glazes will go on completely different color from what they fire up. Underglazes are at least in the same family. Like if you put a green on it, it's going to be a green of some kind, but it shifts how dark the color is and how chromatic it is quite drastically. You can also have issues with more or less transparency. What Payne typed something and I cannot read all of it.
On that note, do you add oxide washes to bring up details? Like, what was your technique on the relief vessels?
I mostly do.
Oh, it's behind.
Yeah, it's behind the thing. I mostly do oxide washes.
Yeah, so like
as a matter of course.
Thumbnail.
Yeah, definitely those have the oxide wash. Occasionally I do some mixes. I primarily use a black iron oxide, which is a magnetite, but there's also a red iron oxide, which gets you kind of a browner color, but it stains the body a lot more. It's really good for like dirty werewolves and stuff like that. Occasionally I will also mix some underglazes in if I want to change the color of my wash a little. Let's get started on the teeth sections down in here.
Shred's here.
Hello, Shred. We're just starting to get really unpleasant looking. Oh, Pinus, could you hand me? There is a wooden tool in the things behind you.
You're gonna need to be a
Yeah.
little more specific than that.
Okay, reach straight back past the orange thing. Yep, little more than that.
Am I
I'm looking
in
for a
this one?
wooden. Nope, next.
This one?
Actually, it's in the same one that the orange one is in, but
Okay.
it's leaning way back. That's the guy. Give it to me.
Give it me.
Thank you, Pie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Nicole. Is McSalty Nicole?
Oh, is McSalty Nicole? Hopefully, we're not we're not outing anybody that we ought not to be.
Yes.
Ah,
McSalty is Nicole.
McSalty is Nicole. Do you prefer Nicole or McSalty? For stream purposes, let's do one really unpleasant tooth.
I will use usernames.
We will use usernames. I have
you
not.
Can use whatever you want.
I haven't done this in a while. But this is how I used to make almost all of my teeth for things.
You know what? What do you say?
Individually.
Oh.
What? So I'm kind of pressing in and up into these gaps. Not sure if you guys can see this. Let me know if I'm off cam when I'm sculpting these.
Off.
So quick and dirty tooth. Take a little lump.
Yes.
Make yourself a teardrop shape. And then I find on the thumbnail works really well. You can kind of flatten it out. And then you've got like a tooth. If I'm going to do an incisor with it, I'll flatten it a little bit. But teeth are super duper delicate when they're in the in the finished state. So I tend to leave them real thick and chunky whenever I can. And then you just kind of insert that end. That tooth is too big. Let's get rid of that one. Let's get a smaller tooth.
Right now it's looking like a minion born from a parent on what? Isotret. The pain? What is isotretinoin? Acne med that causes birth defects. Oh, fun.
Get that tooth in there. Yeah, we're gonna get these.
So is it the head shape or the giant teeth or what?
We're gonna get these very unpleasant on all fronts.
Facial deformities mostly.
It's gonna have that. Oh, so one thing I also have to do is I have to make sure to give myself, yeah, I'll make a molar real quick. So quick and easiest way I know of to make a molar, hopefully you'll be able to see this. Make kind of a regular tooth, a little squared off. Make a little spot, and you can have either a molar or a bicuspid, whether you, depending on whether you do 2 or 4 divisions. Just a little bit touch here or there will give you what you need. To get things really unhinged. Those teeth. Give it some room.
I think I may reframe a bit.
Okay.
Sorry guys, the camera's gonna move. When you start getting up towards the top, you need to reframe again.
Okay. Well, I was gonna start getting toward the top soon, but I can work through here more, I guess.
That's better.
So this throne clay is stiffening up.
To give him a few extra earlobes to bring home the look.
We could do that. Extra ears we can definitely do. That's going to be thicker than I want, I think.
Give him some luscious lips.
I'm going to thin that out a little bit. Just a little bit. So I always found the way to really sell...
I must ask you a question.
The way I found to really sell lips was not so much the lip itself, it was these corners. If you kind of press in to the corner of the mouth, you get a really good like believable. It's not like it's not about the lips, it's about the area around the lips to really make it realistic looking and nasty. The lip is kind of just there, but it's these little mouth corners, which makes sense. I mean, the thing a lot of people don't think about when they're sculpting or drawing is that the features don't like sit on top of the face. They're covering an area. So like the lips are built around this protrusion that the muzzle that sort of stretches over the teeth that obviously want to stick out further on the face so that, you know, you can reach food with them. So getting these like extra bits in there. That's where your unpleasant looking lips are going to come from. Now I do want to make sure it's a little taller. I'm really going to be pushing this. I want to give myself a little bit of height off the bottom here. but I need to make sure it still fits in the kiln.
How tall are you trying to make?
Just just uh just short enough that it'll fit on the shelf for firing.
Zoom back out.
No, that's okay. I'm just gonna stand it up. I'm actually gonna be working on the very extreme bottom soon. But there's this tool that I keep moving. It's my measuring stick for height, and it's basically just slightly shorter than the 8 inches that the shelf stands up, because I want to get some legly things going on here. Get some little feet for this to sit up on. So yeah, I'm just putting a foot of sorts on it. Banging out a little circle of clay, throw it down on the table to make a flat spot. And now I'm going to manipulate a nice and, well, not nice, very unpleasant looking toe shape into it. So I'm just mushing and pressing at this point. That's too much. I don't like that. Trim some of that off. Give it like this sort of toe thumb looking thing. Now, because this clay is quite soft, I don't need to put like a lot of slip in the joints or anything, or wet it down. I'm just really pressing it in good. Okay. Stuff about this, but I don't like all of this. So we're gonna shave this down. Get this. So I'm just picking out some areas. May leave this sit for a minute. It's a little soft, a little spongy at the moment. Every feature we add, we're obviously going to add some wrinkles, blend it in. Bring it together. One there. It's sitting a little off. I kind of like that. Give it a little more lean. And this is probably more material than I really need on here. Be reducing that down. On my last piece that I was doing the little toes and things on, I was molding. I had pulled some silicone molds of my own toes and my thumbs. And this time I'm going to sculpt them instead of using molded stuff. I thought that would be more fun to watch. The molded pieces are super effective. Very unsettling. Keep an eye on the overall shape too. Just keep a bit more this kind of action.
Says, yeah, the bowl totally looks like the mold ripped out your eyelashes when you made it.
Strangely, it did not. Yeah, other.
You have to keep all your eyelashes?
I did. Other good news. We have a prototype from the Yummy Mummy out of the kiln. Ooh, yummy mumminess.
Spin.
And it is filled with an energy drink from Gamer Sups.
Sure, it says the eyes are so good.
I thank you.
It says, I dig the coloration.
Yeah, this one is going to be the house one because it's got glaze problems. That pink color gives me trouble.
Are you back in position?
I'm back in position more or less. Not sure how much I like these, but we'll see.
What we got? Oh, we got
Got garbage, what?
block.
You know, this is going to be too big. This is going to bother me. This is going to leave. Place that one big toe with two little maybe even three. We might do three little ones.
So Payne asked what was undesirable about the glaze on that one. Just color shifted in an unwanted way.
Nope, it actually has adhesion issues occasionally. I've not been able to figure it out. It's super inconsistent. And it's some kind of a glaze fit issue.
Shivering off?
It's not, it doesn't really shiver. It actually, the glaze itself will make these like little blisters. And they'll like puff up, and you can like pop them like little glass zits. It's very very annoying.
It says, is that a purity issue?
I don't know what could cause it. I'm pretty sure it's not an adhesion problem. Like it's not like I've got anything on the bisqueware so that it's not sticking right. Because it'll happen like in across multiple mugs in the same spots, and it's more prone when it's like these pre-made glazes. Yeah, they are pre-made glazes. They're
Again,
yeah, they're again PSH's underglaze, which is generally pretty good, at least as far as we can tell. It's got really good color strength. I thought initially that it may have been because the way that I work with my glazes, I decant them into little bottles, and I was doing like many iterations of shake it up and use it, and then it settles, and shake it up and use it, and it settles. And what I initially thought was happening was I was inadvertently not mixing it quite enough and actually changing the formula over time.
So Payne asks, do you think it's something to do with spraying them through the airbrush?
Nope, it's definitely not that, because it happens when I brush it on too. It's generally happened when I'm only using one color and not mixing them. And when I'm trying to get like a more solid color, if I ever add like more glaze, so like it's exacerbated by a thicker application, but it isn't caused by too thick an application, because they're not. I don't apply my underglazes very thickly, and it's happened like I've had different amounts of layering that will be just fine on the same piece.
Wasn't sure if it was like a double action air pressure issue. I forgot if you use single.
I do use a single action. I'm not sure why a double action would change anything in this case, but I found the double actions were really hard to use with glaze, because it settles out so quickly that you're constantly like chasing your tail when you're making use of a double action. Just to explain, a double action airbrush is one where the air flow is controlled by pushing the trigger down, and the paint flow is controlled by pulling the trigger back. And because the paint is like constantly changing viscosity, you just never know when it's going to start squirting. It just goes off without warning. Which is not good when you're trying to paint, small details and things like that. You can't really control it as well as with paint. It's quite like there's a learning curve involved with paint, but it is, once you get used to it, it is very controllable, and it, with a good paint mix and a good airbrush, you get pretty predictable results. But with the glaze, it's like the paint is constantly changing viscosity as you're using it. Get an extra weird toe up here. I feel like this isn't going terrible, considering I literally haven't done this.
Weird little elbow.
Yeah, I literally have not done this kind of sculpting in probably close to a year now.
And by this type of sculpting, you mean with clay, or
sculpting in the water-based clay? The last one I did was the mask that I made last October. So I guess it hasn't been quite a year, but getting close. Yeah. The kind of mole vampire looking one.
Vampire bat thing.
Vampire bat thing. Indeed, the vampire bat thing. Yeah, I've been doing almost all of my sculpting in oil-based clays. Now, one thing I do remember specifically, or one thing to keep in mind, is when you're doing any kind of art project, it's got to go through its ugly duckling phase. It needs its ugly time, and this one is in pretty peak ugly time right now. Water-based clay especially has some really good properties in terms of the ability to soften and manipulate shapes with just like a wet brush. So when I start doing that on this guy, you're going to see a huge change. Let's give him a pouty little lip. It does feel a tiny bit dry. I may need to give this a squirt. That's fun. I like that. So I did make sure to throw this vessel pretty thickly. So I've got extra material to work with. terms of just being able to carve in as well as adding wrinkles. Make sure to add some good concavities. I find that, especially with a more freeform shape like this, adding these like sunken in concave passages really sells the gravity of it, the way the meat kind of hangs. I find that important to my designs usually. I don't know if it's a old painter thing. But when you're painting, you're always trying to add the illusion of mass because you don't have any physically. Whereas obviously this is clay, so it has weight no matter how I sculpt it. A lot of potters are often kind of obsessed with trying to make the clay appear lighter. But I like that. I like that droop. Like drip, but different. It's hard edge here. Really let that almost look like it's beginning to roll over and pool. It's so fleshy. I am hoping still to get this done all in this one stream. It looks like we're an hour in, so that might be asking a bit much. What I may end up doing is getting one area close to finished, because I want you to be able to see the kind of the whole of the process all in one sculpt. Another thing I really like are these like compound wrinkles. That's what I think of them as. Sort of folds that kind of conjoin and grow under themselves, under other folds. We can a little bit of this smoothing. you really watch this just transform from kind of a rough grouping of tool marks into real meaty looking wrinkles almost just immediately. It's just that fast. Water-based clay. It's part of what makes it really fun. But I find for mold making purposes, the oil-based clay that I use, the monster clay, is much nicer. I can get much better results. Yeah, that's getting there. That's just give this a little bit of moisture. Make sure we don't have cracking problems.
This is almost mad ball like.
I mean, those things have mad balls, boglins, the Garbage Pail Kids cards. Those just have wormed their way into my psyche deep. That seems to come up a lot. I have a lot of Madball stuff come out.
Looks like it's gonna have a weird saggy butt going on.
Saggy butt. Oh, it could. Oh, it might. Yes, it will. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, it's doing it now.
You're not gonna give it a third leg.
I was gonna give it a third leg, but now it's no. No. When in doubt, cake it up.
This reminds her of the Lickitung. Oh yes, cakes. Definitely cakes.
Yeah, cakes. You gotta cake it. Is it time? Is it time for an anatomy lesson with Herman? Okay, we can find. I'm just finding the center line between the two toe, leg, feet things. So we're going to put in, we're going to start with our gluteus maximi.
Wow, then he's gonna have some depth.
Yes, it is definitely going to have some depth. We're going to start with gluteus maximus, and those are a sort of, they will describe an almost kidney bean shape. Typically, they're a little bit longer and taller than they are wide in most cases. Everyone's muscle attachments are a tiny bit different, but try and get some.
At least you're not building it fully out of beans.
Not this time. So we're gonna get some. Oh no, my butt's got a crack in it. But not where I usually want it. So one thing, just as a general, to be wary about when it comes to anatomical things. The general rules are general rules at best, because as you move, as you look at different people or critters in this case, things are going to be strongly different. The gluteus medius, which is above and shrink that, above and slightly to the outside, typically. That's going to change tremendously from person to person. So observation is best. If I was working off camera or any slower at all, I would be out for reference photos at this point for sure, because these are going to be some pretty weird cheeks. But knowing your anatomy a bit is very helpful in instances like this, where you have really weird cheeks.
You add a tramp stamp for him?
Maybe. Could do. Maybe at the glaze stage. Don't know what the tramp stamp would say. Cheese slut? But yeah, it's good to know your anatomy, especially when you're having to like invent stuff. But I would say, whenever possible, never trust your knowledge. You're always going to do better with... Oh, man. Okay, I just had a thought. I might need to... I do need to change. Okay, I need to move some stuff around. Oh, dear me.
Do you want me to do anything with the camera?
No. It's not a camera thing. It's
It's always better with cheddar.
So the issue that I'm going to have is one of the things that I am intentionally doing with this one that I knew I was going to do is this the if this were a wine bottle, the punt, as it is called. The puckered chocolate star-shaped undersea creature.
Starfish.
Well, yeah, I know. I don't know how much butthole I can get away with on Twitch. But now we're out with it, so. But that means that I need to rethink these cheeks. Because we can't have cheeks unrelated to the butthole.
As long as you're not demonstrating a full-on prolapse, it's probably fine.
I'm not demonstrating any kind of a prolapse. This is definitely an innie, not an outie situation. I'm just going to add a little bit of clay in here. This is mostly for structural soundness, honestly. Okay, so the tiny honey hole. We're going to start with this thing really wants to creep on me. I'm going to start with roughening the surface. That's important. Now, if this works the way I want it to, which it probably will not, I'm going to be very pleased. We're going to get one crack at this, I think. No pun intended there. But a little bit of moisture. Gotta use lube.
Salty says lies.
Oh, it's not going to do what I hoped it was going to do. It's fine. All of this is fine. Anyway. Now, okay, I was hoping that this clay was going to reach just the right stage of dryness so that it didn't crack terribly, but it did naturally pucker as I forced it around into the circular shape. But we can't always have what we want. Sometimes we have to cope. So we're going to get some good blending here. It's probably for the best because I would have had to be much more precious with it. To preserve the natural puckering. This is probably actually. We're just going to add. We're going to add a few. Let me get this really. Now I have to make sure that I save extra room because this is going to shrink approximately 12%, and I don't want it to get too tight to get my thumb in there. So the funniest thing is I had this idea a few days ago. In the last stream, we were discussing the concept of doing this, giving this thing a butthole.
Stream.
And just for fun. Just get a sneaky little Hemi in there. So I remembered the wine bottle thing as being a thing. The idea that you would, when you're being fancy and you're pouring a wine, you would hold the wine bottle in such a way that you use your thumb to support the wine bottle inside the punt. And I just thought that was a hilarious idea of giving this wine carafe an anus. And then I looked it up. And apparently, it is not necessarily proper etiquette to pour that way. Some servers refer to that as the proctologist's hold. So we're going to take off our butt. I guess now it has to, obviously, if we're going to have a butt, it has to relate to this unhealthy looking anus, and add a little bit of mass in here for the taint. Or no, that wouldn't be. Why am I putting that there? That's the wrong side of the. So you got to think these things through. That's the wrong end of the ice cream. That is. Get this. Guys can't see what I'm doing when I turn it that way. What did Shred say? It's
Shrinking butthole stream.
Shrinking butthole stream. I don't get to see butthole on my chat. I'm not signed. Oh, no. I'm not signed in.
Oh, did it?
So I get censored versions of a lot of things. You gotta back me up on this one. I'm not getting.
I did read it for you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well,
that was a while ago.
Okay. I missed it. I was thinking about taint, and I clearly missed it. Let's get this. Okay, now we're going to need to set her up again. Set it up again. I'm not sure. There's no need to gender this thing. Even though we do kind of have it up in the stirrups right now. I will be absolutely pleased as I possibly can be if Dante has to censor this thing on the YouTube.
It's entirely possible that it might only get a brief showing.
these cheeks in place, and then I need to set this up so we can see how she, see, now that's too much cheek.
Kane says you can always censor it yourself.
I could always censor it myself, but it's not the same if I do it. Okay, I'm gonna.
You may not even show it at all.
They may not.
You make it bad enough. That's not a challenge, by the way.
You don't know what's a challenge. So hopefully this isn't shaking the camera too much. I'm just gently tapping it on the table to set these cheeks.
Make a sense bar that you could paint all pixelated.
Ooh, that's gonna be too tight.
Too tall?
Too tall. Slightly too tall. It's okay. It's okay. We can do this with just a little bit of reduction here. We need an ass reduction. Stat. Cheekectomy. This feels unnatural to me.
Not less butt, more butt. Assoplasty.
Yep. Normally it's the other way around. Get the dump truck. Not today. Okay, let's check the seated height, and we're good again. Okay, so we'll let that dry a bit. Let that undercarriage dry.
Oh, the seated height. Are you done with picked up?
Yep, I'm done with picked up. Now we're going to make these cheeks really prominent from the back. So I think we're going to lose some anatomical correctness and information here, because if we were to follow the scale that we're working with from underneath, we'd have a butt way up there. So we're gonna have artistic license today. Happy little butt accidents. Not sure about that conceptually.
Tread says no long butts.
No long butts. Nope, we're not. Well, we wouldn't have room for belly buttons. And a weird, like, double.
He needs some saggier cheeks.
A weird double bifurcated belly button, no less. going to get a little cartoonish on this ass crack. Get some Ren and Stimpy.
Sure. Always bifurcated.
Never duplicated? Get some like mid 90s level Cartoon Network butt cheeks on this thing. And then we're going to build some pads over. Just actually going to make this look like it's got a dainty little butt.
There's an old Bugs Bunny cartoon called That's Opera Doc with a horse with the flabbiest ass I have ever seen.
I will need to find that one.
Shred, the thing that goes bump the night butt. Pain. Bugs could just kind of Bugs kind of just slides off.
Ah. Okay, I'm gonna get these fat pads. I'm gonna give it the gut overhang. Now this is.
Oh my God, I need to see that.
Now this is really starting to remind me of the Lickitung. I think the Lickitung had an absolutely tragic, just mournful ass. Okay.
Do I have pictures? Probably.
This is a booty that has never done a squat. Never experienced any sort of exercise of any kind. And as long as we're doing this, we're going to get some spinal indent here. Which is really going to make selling this side as belly button hard. But we'll make it work. We'll know it's a belly button when we stream. That's all that counts.
Shred, I literally just cringed.
That belly button could be our secret. It's our secret belly button. Okay. Now, because I've done this, obviously I can't not have a bit of spine up here. We got 30 almost. I get this.
So, are you gonna do another section, or are you gonna try and finish it up?
I'm gonna try to get as close as I can to finishing it up anyway. I may have to finish this off stream unless people really desperately want to see the conclusion of the
What's YouTube? If I click on that,
no, we can't enjoy that. But thank you for the link. We will enjoy it later.
It's going to be a thrilling cliffhanger.
I mean, I suppose I don't have anything else that I desperately need to do. Oh.
You could probably milk this for Thursday.
I could probably milk this for Thursday. I probably could. If people are interested to see thrilling conclusion of the weirdest most
like, because it looks like there's a lot.
There is a lot left to do. It's not.
Payne wants to know when the submission needs to be in by.
Oh,
I think it's a while.
It's forever.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything with this for a couple of weeks now, and I think Dante said something like 5 months to get it done. But I just can't wait that. I can't sit on a project, on an idea this good for all that time. Are you kidding me? No, it can't happen. No, if I let it sit that long, I would just forget about it entirely. I've got
sounds like a very mean thing.
Too many. Yes, I've got too many projects.
And says, I just don't want you to miss being in his video response to submissions.
No.
I think we'll be okay. Actually, I could look it up.
What? No, he said like 5 months. This will be done way like 100 years in advance. Like, I'm not worried about getting it done for that purpose. It's just a little off model for the usual content we're attempting to provide. Now I'm really wishing I hadn't bent that spout over too. Oh, I just got a look of it on cam. It is quite flashy. Yes. It's good to look at things in pictures sometimes. Mm-hmm. You get a different perspective on stuff. So here's what I was initially thinking. Oh, we can't see that. Minus. I think I require a camera. I think I require the camera to pull out.
You need the top of it?
I need the top of it. Edge. That end is just...
I keep zapping myself.
Well, maybe you should stop that.
Well, do you want me to do the thing or not?
No, I need the top. I need all of it. Oh.
Just give it a second.
Okay.
There's a delay.
So, my initial plan was for the pouring section to be here. So it would be held this wise. But now that we've got this action as well. I don't know where to put. I don't know where to put the pouring spout now, or if I should move it. What are we thinking? Should I move it or should I leave it?
Spout?
The spout. I think it's okay where it is.
I feel like you want it to be looking you in the eye as you do it.
I don't know if it can do that. I think.
Well, your thumb's in the bottom part, right?
Well, it could be, but my
when you're
thumb
doing the
might be here.
just hold or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
My thumb is going to be in the eye socket quite often.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. I do know how I'm going to handle the pouring section. My plan is to put a like a mouthy type orifice at the top. So not only will it look absolutely horrendous, it's going to pour just everywhere.
That angle is coming off a big California raisin Cyclops.
I could see that. I'd believe that. Okay, at least for now, I'm going to stick with the original pouring spout. Because I think whichever grip I go with, that's going to make sense. So I need to rough up this area in here. Which I'm not sure how well you guys are going to be able to see this, so I may just handle this very quickly. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this adequately.
No, we need a tall.
Yeah, we need a tall camera input.
I mean, we can kind of see it, sort of.
Well, I will get this really roughly put in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some clay, sort of a ring just inside the opening at the top. Kind of like a gum line almost. So we're going to have, I'll describe it to you. It's about 1/4 of an inch or so below. And I'm just pinching it. Kind of pie crust in pie crust fashion, with like a gap between each little pinch. So we're getting kind of this sort of thing. And then I'm just going to blend in
tripod thingy doesn't have like a quick release.
Yes, it is. It's okay. Moving the camera around like that would be seasickening anyway. So I'm just blending this in. To the bottom. You really can't see when I do that. Press, press, press. Brush out a little more water. I'm going to hold this portion for next time. Let me see. I can't do that. Okay. Thought maybe I could stuff the plastic bag in for keeping things nice and moist. It's okay. I can I have the squirt bottle that's directly behind your computer? Let's give everything a quick misting. Keep it movable. So we're going to start. We're going to be starting the refining process a bit here soon. So two fingers in there. Get a good wrinkle going here. On the tummy button angle. So get this. Ooh, that would be a good ear too. That's pretty unpleasant. Sticking your finger in the ear hole. Maybe we will convert that tummy button to an ear.
Your part looks like a sonogram.
A sonogram? I'm unfamiliar with sonograms in general. Not the technology, the like babies thing.
Same.
I know ears are good.
They're creepy.
They are creepy. I mean, are we talking about babies or sonograms or eyes and sonograms? Now I kind of want to see one though.
Also, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up sonogram eye. I love a good piece of medical disgustingness. The X-rays of infants' heads when they're all the teeth are lined up underneath the gum line are pretty wild. I don't know if that I have not seen an eye on a sonogram. The stuff you learn when you're doing internet things.
At least they look that way on a medical show.
Mm. Be It's going to be pretty reasonably foul looking, this. When in doubt, add some more fleshy wrinkles. Can never have too many. And in need of some good extra fleshiness. That's getting pretty nasty. I don't like this tooth. The tooth's got to go.
Pain sent us an article with lots of free imaging of fetal anomalies.
Thank you, Payne. Can always do with more anomalies. Okay, well, about 10 minutes remaining. In our stream, it's about time to start adding toenails. Various parts. Fairly convincing toenails are actually really easy to make in clay. It's just a simple. Ooh, let's get too soft. We're going to get pigeonholed as one of those feet streams if we're not careful.
Just a random toe protruding from the side of his cheek.
Well, yeah. Where do you keep your toes?
Elsewhere.
Give it one of these little baby toenails. Like what my wife's got. These little weird, barely toenails. I don't think I want to get too strong on the wrinkles on this. I want it to maintain a nice kind of soft, squishy flesh tone. Is amazing to me still with the water-based clay, it's like you barely have to sculpt things at all. You just get them partway there and just soften it with a brush. It just works.
I can tell he likes that part. Says shred.
Yes. Oh, it's so much, like the amount of work it is to do this same job in monster clay in comparison is nuts. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my monster clay, but this is just so fast and easy, and you can get so much out of just like changing the texture of your paintbrush that you're using.
Now, will you just store this in a wet box to finish on Thursday's stream, or with some damp towels and plastic package wrap this session?
You could store it without a wet box. Wet boxes don't do anything like magical. They're just very much more convenient to be able to just stick this somewhere rather than having to carefully wrap it up. And the wet box does mean that you don't have to, like, I wouldn't have to check on it. It's been in there a good solid week already.
Pain for working on multiple things at a time?
Yeah, for any reason. The wet box is a quality of life improvement. It is good. It's definitely a good tool to have, but it's certainly not necessary. Like if you were just doing a project like this, you know.
Okay, so you could take a week off from a project without it drying up too badly?
Yeah, no problem. You can keep a clay project going indefinitely. Lots of people do. Wet box or no wet box. In either case, like if you wanted to leave something for a month, you know, in the case of a wet box, you could maybe leave it in for a couple of weeks without worrying about it, or wrapped in plastic for 3 or 4 days should be no problem if you wrapped it thoroughly.
I mean, I do monster clay indefinitely. That is.
Well, monster clay is indefinitely, very indefinitely.
Just haven't worked with wet clay.
What's your record now for a monster clay sculpt, Pain?
What's your oldest sculpt currently in progress?
If you're not careful, you're going to have unfinished sculpts that are old enough to drive.
Might have been Fishman.
Wait, Fishman? No, you finished. You're not talking about that mask that you did. That you finished. We cast it. We painted it.
That was a while. The mask.
Was it? That was forever ago.
Yeah, my magenta creature from the Black Lagoon, but it was a while.
Yeah. But that one's like the sculpt part of that is finished now. But you must have some stuff kicking around. Do you still have the oh, what was the name of the clown from American Horror Story? I forget now.
May have been the last time I did wet clay.
Yeah. Well, the face Twisty, yeah. If you've still got Twisty around, I think you started that before your Fishman. And I don't think we ever finished that piece. I feel fairly good about this. Two more minutes. That's enough time to add a little tiny pinky toe.
So where did we land on? Are we doing this again Thursday?
Where did we land on it? Would we be more interested in seeing some new monster mugliness going on, or more of this ridiculous?
Payne said I think, but I'm not sure what she thinks. Maybe finish this first.
Finish this first?
Then Cheddar Goblin. Wait, are you doing Cheddar Goblin?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but clearly Payne thinks if she says it with confidence, it'll happen.
Because why the fuck not?
Because we have many other projects.
So that's never going to change.
This is true. No, I don't have plans for a Cheddar Goblin at this point. Besides, don't you have a Cheddar Goblin? I am pretty sure I remember there was a Cheddar Goblin being worked on. Oh. This is...
She says I made a mold for him.
Yeah. Yeah, that mold must be set by now. It was taking its sweet ass time because it was one of those DIY store silicone mold things, but
her Cheddar Goblin is no me.
Cheddar Goblin.
Her Cheddar Goblin needs a friend. She's never bought the epoxy and tiny macaroni colored Sculpey pieces to cast in.
Yes.
Right. See, Shred knows.
Okay. All right. We'll carry on with this.
Yeah, I guess time's up.
We're not sure about this.
It's not done.
It's not done. This is going away, though.
I shall make that call. We shall have a session 2
on Thursday.
And then that's it?
And then that's it.
Okay. I like how his foot kind of looks like a blobfish from here.
His foot looks like a...
No. That one. Yep, from here. So if you turn it... No, too far. You don't think that looks like a blobfish a little?
Oh, yeah. No, I see it. I see it when it's... There's one angle that it's blobfish. Okay. Okay, we will pick this up.
Folks.
Bye. Thanks for stopping in. I hope you all had fun.
Bye.
Bye.